All right.
Season finale.
This is the big finale here on the commentary track. If you're watching these in order.
My name is Dan Harmon, and a long time ago I came up with an idea for a cartoon called Rick and Morty, and I went to the following people for help.
I'm Justin Roiland.
Just along for the ride.
I'm Tom Kaufman.
I'm Ryan Ridley.
And I'm Morley Schaefer. And this is 16 Minutes.
So this is the finale, which was originally part 1, and if you listen to the Purge episode, which you should have chronologically,
you
realize
fucking
we spiraled
piece of shit. Just kidding.
in the writing of this two-parter.
You're cool.
If you're listening to the commentaries in order, there's a zigzag effect to how drunk we're getting. I started slurring my words on the last episode.
Also, this episode started off almost entirely being on Squanchy Planet and involving 7 storylines where the joke was that the word Squanchy was replaced as everything else.
I wrote an entire first act where Squanchy was in every sentence, and they were riding a Squanch coaster throughout the city.
And Summer had a Squanch relationship.
There was no wedding.
I forgot.
They basically just bailed on Earth because the Federation had already taken over.
The concept was like Rick was like, "Hey, we're going on family vacation," and then like after I don't know if it was the threshold, he reveals to Morty like, "Yeah, so this wasn't a vacation.
We can't go back.
We can't go back. It's game over."
There's one remnant from that original Squanchy Planet that got in here that I'll point out when it happens.
Is it the Squanchy scene? With Squanchy?
It is the
because
Squanchy
basically
scene.
that whole scene with Squanchy is like, that's all we needed to do.
That's
hit
like
the joke
just
of,
one,
it's funny when he says Squanchy.
One well-crafted scene.
Yeah, but we literally had an entire episode of that joke.
We had like 3 stories.
Yeah, all based around
Summer had a relationship with a guy who, because originally it's romantic that he only says Squanch because it's more amorphous, and he's like, why do you have to have definite meanings for things and labels? And then he turns out to be this crazy, like, cloying, possessive person who's like, you said we were Squanch.
And Summer's like, well, what
does that mean?
Jerry is like running for president of Squanchy or world or mayor or something like that.
Because he's like an advertising executive.
Well, remember he was having a conversation and he was starting to say Squanch, and they're like, oh, you agree with her.
You get it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're ever talking about.
And then Beth had like a disease or something.
Yeah.
Or
This joke where she says she squanches her family is like the only thing that survived.
Yeah. But that's all you need. And think of how much more we get. And we were down to the wire. I think it was like Thursday, and we needed to turn the script in like the next day. We finally were like, fuck this Squanch shit. And then we basically after we broke the story, we split the scenes up, and almost everybody in the staff wrote a scene.
Oh,
that's
right.
Yeah, we all had like 6 or 7 pages to finish, and we combined them.
And it worked. That's something that usually doesn't always work.
No, I know. And I really love this episode. I think it came together very well, and everyone.
Well, trade secret with a wedding episode. Weddings have structure built into them. So if you just commit to a wedding, like, you're good.
Mm-hmm. For the first half, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we went a little crazy in the reception.
Yeah, we got Trisha. Wait, is her name Trisha Helfer?
Yeah, the 2 Battlestar people.
Yeah, and Gaius Baltar. What's his name again? The actor? He's great.
Yeah.
He also played the giant fleshy orb that brought the invite.
What are they called again? Flappy?
Courier Flaps.
Courier Flaps. There you go. Yeah.
That was Tom's. That was your creation, Tom.
That was my 6 or 7 pages. Yeah.
This is great.
Isn't this the first time Beth is actually in? No. She's on the therapy thing too.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh, in space.
Yeah.
I see. Or in a sci-fi story.
More importantly, it's not her first time in space. It's her first time in her father's world.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why she's like, don't fucking.
That's Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, drawn anyway.
What is his name? Gaius Baltar.
I don't know, but boy,
damn it,
I'm
I know
sorry
his
if you're
name.
listening to this, sir.
Yeah, we're sorry, sir. We know your name.
I remember I felt weird because they were coming in for just a short thing, and I felt like, oh, Justin, you can't cast these big
no, it's great.
Battlestar people.
It was
for
awesome.
These 2 parts.
It's cool to be able to do that sometimes.
Yeah, and that show dropped the ball. They should be punished.
Yeah,
that's not their fault.
That's why I brought them in for a small little part. I was like, yeah, you would have had a bigger part if the finale would have worked.
Oh, James Callis, the great
James
Callis. Thank you, Mike McMahon.
But by the way, I was all right with it. I was all right with the finale. I was like, what do you want? What more do you want?
I don't know. I never watched the show.
You're shit talking, and you haven't even seen
The original was fucking amazing show about fighting like silver people with Knight Rider eyes, and they had a robot dog, and it was amazing. You could make a different show called Psychological Warfare with nano.
It's so good.
Nano
You
dreams.
have to watch it. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, but just don't horn in on
the Battlestar thing.
The
but it ties
property.
in. It does tie in really well.
Have the balls to make and sell a show called Space Dreamers, and see how well it sells. Don't trick me
and
into...
then see how well it sells.
I did it. I didn't call Rick and Morty Star Wars.
That's true.
I called it Rick and Morty.
We didn't call it.
And then I called my friend Justin, and I was like, I got an idea. Help me out.
And I was like, I'm there, man. I love those towers in the background. I wish I could climb it. I wish I could climb that
It reminds me of
tower.
that iOS game, the slimy
bird tossers. Oh, Goo. World of Goo.
World of Goo.
Yeah, World of Goo. You're
World
right.
of Goo.
It's got that nice physics-based.
Anything to say about this conversation?
I love this scene.
Overwritten.
I love this fucking scene. I will say, like, this. We worked on this in color to get her acting right, because her acting was way off.
That's not her fault, right?
No, I'm saying the
acting?
animation.
Okay.
The animation. Sarah Chalk's performance was great.
I thought that we chopped this in the edit too. I
During
just
that time,
way
I don't suppose
overwrote
he
it.
ever mentioned his daughter. Are those
I
just
thought
love how
the
they're-
joke was so clear and so interesting, and it's like
I think it's great. I mean, I love. They're clearly just not. There's no communication happening. It's just two.
yeah. That was the bit, and but it doesn't need 9 minutes.
Tammy.
Now, Justin, this burp that's coming up that you do is my favorite burp in the show.
Oh, the
It
sad-
sounds like
the
you were
forlorn
really
burp.
drunk. You weren't really drunk, were you?
No.
It's weird how arbitrarily emotional Rick suddenly gets. Like, it's just that one moment. In this.
Well, he didn't want to go to the fucking wedding.
Well, he there's a arc there.
Yeah.
He got called out. Like weddings make you cry. Rick was making as it turns out, the wise choice to force himself to not digest this. And everyone was like, what's the worst that could happen if you just do what everyone does at a wedding, which is just accept that it's romantic?
Yeah.
And he finally succomes to that.
That's a Wes Archer
This was-
character here.
This is Alex Rubin's chunk of the episode. A lot of good stuff in this one. Is that like that alien it trails looks like the aliens from that.
By the way, that's
William
Aaron
S.
Hansen
Burroughs
from Game
movie.
Grumps. doing
This
the voice
joke,
of
I don't know if that ever landed.
It's hard to make a salad read.
Yeah.
That's what the hard,
Believe me, we changed it 3 times.
Yeah, no, I remember I gave that note. I was like, this doesn't look like a salad.
And I
What
agreed
is this guy
every
freaking
time.
out about?
I was
how
bitching
can-
about it too, yeah.
But it's a funny joke and concept.
I'm sure there's at least 10 people out there that chuckled. At least.
That's all we need.
You get 10 chuckles, you're good.
I think that's a 3 chuckler. Because
At
the guys, you have to read that the guy's a plant man.
Yeah.
And then there's a monkey head. It doesn't. It's. We were
going
like,
on.
take that, Temple of Doom.
Yeah. And they're like, next. It was like
I've heard the stories of your joke that wouldn't land.
This whole when the shit goes down in this was rough in color. Like we were.
Oh, yeah.
I did a lot of work to this shit because we realized there was some unforeseen changes that we made in animatic that fucked with the staging and just the geography of this room and where is this and where is that. We were up against a rock in a hard place.
I was just satisfied with the Federation here is not being written up to, because what was their plan here?
I guess it's to just all these criminals in one place, round them up,
I know,
and get
but
the portal gun.
They kind of slopped it.
Yeah, no,
You know, they had the full
absolutely.
advantage, and they kind of fucked up.
Yeah, well, they fucked up by having her get up and do the Batman and the '60s Batman criminal speech. It's like, oh boy, what are we doing?
Yeah, why did they? Yeah.
I guess that's just overconfidence. Like she was like, it's like the girl from High Profits. The never mind. No one
Well,
watches
you know,
that.
if I'm sure we're not going to necessarily see this, but maybe we will. She's going to have a dressing down from a superior, where he's calling her a cowboy, and
Well, it's that whole thing of like,
You had him in the bag.
This is my collar, and I want to be there for the bust, but that stuff that's a crutch.
That's super cool looking.
Yeah, that turned out good.
Yeah, we like that. We like that.
It is interesting.
Oh,
how...
I want to do a story about that guy that we just saw the single of shooting, that weird fucking bounty hunter alien.
But he's a guest, right?
He's a guest. He's on Rick's side. Yeah,
he's fighting. Yeah.
But I'm like, what's his deal? What's that guy's deal? Let's call George Lucas and find out.
I think this was Brian Weissall. I think he wrote this part.
Yeah.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He wrote a lot of these cool action things that are going on.
Yeah, this was another shot.
I actually did push back a little bit about it. I was like, I thought it'd be cooler if it was like Squanchy could turn into that thing almost at will instead of it being like a chemical reaction.
Oh, I love that. I love that, that he has a little vial of liquid in his tooth.
Good thing I grabbed a space weapon.
That almost got cut, that line, but then we figured out we actually could use the time to extend the
catering van.
Well, the parents running.
That's why there's so many
Tammy's robot parents running. It was too fast. We're like, we need the time.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't Tammy get killed in?
No, we don't know what happens
in an original version of the scene.
Oh, like in an older draft, possibly, yeah.
No.
No?
She gets killed.
Well,
I won't say anymore.
All right. Well, she doesn't. We don't know what happens.
We don't know what happens to her.
We, for real, don't. Like, I swear to God, we don't. You hear me?
We don't.
Just keep working. We know you're working at work. Listening to this on your computer.
That's the runner of these commentaries.
They are. These people are at work.
What do you imagine they're doing right now?
They're like they're on an old PC with a CD drive in it, and they're doing whatever they do.
Like, filtration systems.
Yeah, whatever they do, they're fucking up. You're at work.
All right. Well, now we shifted gears, and it's on the run time. Does this also have its own built-in structure, Dan? On the run.
On the
tropes?
run, baby.
Yeah, this is like one of our many episodes where it's satisfying because there's an escape from structure. I think. Like,
no, I mean, I'm not criticizing. It's awesome.
Yeah, you come back and it's a whole new episode.
My favorite thing is those little rocks flying by in the background, the little space rocks. I mean, how could you not like those? Keep your eyes out for them. Take a sip every time you see a space rock fly by in the background. At home. Of whatever. Of Boku.
For those who aren't at work, busy.
Yeah, for those who can, take a sip. Every time you see a space rock. So far, I've clocked one.
Which I guarantee they won't believe. So who's homesick? By applause. Ladies?
Oh, Mike's telling us to talk about.
Oh, yeah, so that is a good moment where Summer cries.
Do you think when girl viewers are watching their favorite cartoon and like a male character is all of a sudden in a tuxedo, do the girl characters go, oh, wow, that's a nice outfit?
Nice, yeah, he cleans up nicely.
They think Jerry looks good.
Right.
I think Jerry looks pretty well put together here.
Because do you think Beth looks good?
I do.
Sidestepping specifics.
I think Beth and Summer both look really good. I think Summer looks...
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, these characters are like 3 lines apiece.
Summer looks fantastic.
But when you whenever the characters, like, whenever you write in the script, Beth comes in wearing a sweater. Or like Summer's wearing a new top, and it's like any kind of change, you kind of go, oh, she looks so nice.
A lot of debate about this concept, these 3 planets that they land on.
Really?
No, it wasn't debate. It was just a lot of brainstorming.
Just a lot of brainstorming, you know, how to come up with these concepts. What are these? What are the 3 jokes / realities
the
of these
corn
planets?
thing is fucking amazing. I wasn't in the room for any of that. I just read the pages and I was like, oh, this is fucking great.
I don't know who pitched it. Maybe Guterman, but yeah,
I know
Guterman
was the biggest cheerleader for it if it wasn't his idea because he loves it.
It's so random that it's one of those ideas that at first you hear, you're like, what? That's dumb. And then all of a
I
sudden
was
you're
just
like,
excited
that's
to
what makes
figure
it
out
great.
from a design sort of aspect how to...
I feel like there's a generation gap that gets illustrated with this joke. That like because I feel like I see young people on the internet still so perplexed about why it's bad for everything to be on the cob. and that it seems like such a simple,
I mean, you
almost
don't
Mel
see,
Brooks kind of joke.
Yeah.
You don't see Rick scared of anything. And the fact that he's scared of, genuinely, I guess, it's rare to see him scared of anything, that he's scared of a corn in the cob
And
planet.
I don't want to get too deep about it, but I think it's like the whole trigger warning kind of like generation is like, oh, I believe there's a reason it would be bad for everything to be on the cob. The difference is that, like, if you're Gen X, you're like, well, as long as no one's hitting me with a belt, like, there's no danger. So the joke must be that cobs aren't dangerous, but like they're like today's 25-year-old is like, I still, because every Q&A at every convention they go, Why is things being on a cob bad?
Oh man.
I mean, I love that joke, but I just don't understand it.
They
think
wanted
about
to
it, sir.
defend things on a cob. They wanted to
I
defend
like
it.
corn on the cob.
Look at Rick's, I assume, quickly homemade TV. It's like got sepia tone. Is that like?
Well, you know,
he can throw a TV together.
There
but-
wasn't a ton to work with on this little planet.
It's in a cabin, Ryan. I mean,
He couldn't make color work.
The rheostats are made of wood shavings, so I never even noticed that.
See, these are more federate. It's like Krombopolis Michael, race. It's like it's fucking awesome.
Dramatic effect.
Good morning, family.
Yeah, I think there's like an upper class. There's like some weird racial class
It's like
system.
the ants. You know how there's the soldier ants and there's the.
Well, it's like
you know.
if you Mexicans from Monterrey, like in the hidden shit that they'll say about Mexicans from
the
further
Sephardics
south.
and the Ashkenazi Jews.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
Let's get you started. Let's make this commentary
Another
gold.
time.
Dad, you can't talk about people behind their back.
Let's get it started. I like the window behind Morty. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that.
I see what you're saying, Dan. Like, everyone looks super hot in those outfits.
Yeah, I mean it's time to F.
This
Morty.
joke
It's
seems
F
so
time.
simple that I always wonder if we always think, we make sure we dot the I's and cross the T's about if someone else has done it. But has anyone else done this concept of like walking a tiny planet?
I don't think so.
I love how excited Rick is. So Rick's lying to himself, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's absolutely.
So Rick is
Denial.
like operating on shame right now.
Yeah.
Which is a really crazy amount of information. That Rick is like capable of pretending
Rationalizing.
this tiny planet is it's exciting.
Yeah, it's a good
There's
thing.
no more bacon. This world sucks. Our life sucks. Why are we doing this? For someone that would never do anything for anyone?
And Jerry's the one who's bored first.
Yeah. The cabin we had to redesign because the logs were too big. We all forgot that the trees are really tiny.
Well, those are like redwoods.
I mean, we had to go in and and it still wasn't enough for me. I was like, no, they should they're still too big.
Yeah.
I was like, it should have been like not toothpicks, but a ton of really tiny little logs.
There's so many funny things we could do with tiny.
I kind of want
planets.
to see. We should have done a downbeat of like a Meeseek finishing the log cabin.
Oh yeah,
And going like, okay, I'm done. Poof, and
He's gonna hop over to the gloppy drop system, get some ice
I
cream.
remember having to redo this background to add that water because of the wide shot. I was like, where's the water?
Bye, Morty.
You see when he flies away, there's like a giant lake.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you mean?
You'll see in the next
next
shot. Yeah, it's like when it cuts to Morty standing. It's like an isometric down shot, and there's like he's standing on the bank of a big body of water.
Whenever you tell me those, well, maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit, but I just think I would never catch that. Like these things would go if I was doing your job.
Well, they're dumb. It's like dumb. It's like how much do we want to care about that? But I was like, I think we need to do it. Like if it's always asking the designers like, is this going to kill you? I mean, it still doesn't match. I mean, look at that. It's like,
Well, it's not going to kill us.
like you can see how painted in that one was. It's crazy.
Oh, by the way, that was me as the sun.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. The
Great job.
screaming sun.
That's a
Took on
breakout
life.
character.
Yeah, breakout
Yeah.
character. Absolutely.
Hi, my name's
How does the sun scream? Is that a real is it an actual star or is it like some sort of organic
I don't
entity
know.
that,
That's why I love the Rick and Morty universe is just a step more absurd than Douglas Adams. So it's like fucking the sun is a dude.
Who's just endlessly
Love
screaming.
that. That wasn't my idea. I don't know who's that. That was like part of a list of like
Yeah, that was a
just
lot
crazy
of
riffs.
generation. Yeah.
my family have a normal life.
I like the little air conditioning vent on the top. It's like it's like when you get in an Uber with like a fancy Uber and you can control the AC in the back. Y'all know what I'm talking
This
about.
thing Rick does just for his own benefit.
Oh,
the guy, Agent Goebbels or whoever, is like, okay, man. Like, he has no idea.
Yeah, it's a potentially bit-tipping bit. I also love, by the way, that the deal breaker with the sun planet is that the days are longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how long are the days here? 27 hours. Oh, man.
You can maybe handle it on like a 12-hour day cycle.
Here is a
this
joke
song.
that no one gets. It's just that the sun is setting, and then when the cops come, the sun is rising.
I think.
You think it like?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe it's not a traditional joke, but no one seems to notice it when I try and brag about it.
Producers, start waving your hands if I am starting to go out of bounds. But we had always intended this to be a cover of this song, where we replaced the word "hurt" with the word "squanch."
Yeah.
And we got into a lot of entanglements where we almost had to just have a new song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up with the
I
original.
was working on a backup plan.
Yeah.
All the way up until we got.
Can we talk about with this why there's this DNA thing? This is a moment that's only. So originally, this episode in the viewer direction where that moment is they realize, oh, this kid is not from this world, and he was going to be sent back to Cronenberg world. Morty.
We actually had some canonical conversations. Like we always try not to let canon drive the show, but we did end up. It's worthwhile talking about whether or not the government has the ability to do what Rick has the ability to do. And it just felt more comfortable and right and empowering for us as writers if we didn't empower the government with trans-dimensional travel.
Yeah, I mean they have like the big those like in the pilot episode they have like the big
those outfits are fucking.
They have teleportation.
Yeah, but they don't have portable. They don't have like handheld. Just like what Rick. They don't have what Rick has. They also, I assume, don't have the database of knowledge of like all these different places that he has.
No, that's why Rick's a criminal.
Well, this moment really gave me the feels, as the kids say. When I watched this, I have to say.
I don't like that saying. I think we need to encourage people to stop saying that.
I just start getting used to it.
No, I mean I'll never get used to that. It's like, come on.
Anyway,
don't worry, it'll die at that.
I think it's a good episode, and hopefully we can pay it off at the beginning of season 3.
I ship Justin and the phrase feels.
I forgot
by
about
the way, in a world where credits often get removed, like those will never, like whoever's name are on the screen there. It's like,
what a character! He not only may or may not be someone from the real cast, but he also watches them as a TV show.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
He's like a multi-quantum.
There's a comic coming out.
He might be the most powerful character in the Rick and Morty universe, this Mr. Booby Butthole.
There's a whole comic that gets into his home world and stuff and who he is, and it's pretty
Not
great.
Since True Detective's The Yellow King has there been so much unintentional power given to.
What does that gun poster say?
Guns aren't fun.
Okay, he went out and got that as a result of his...
I think so.
Or did he already have that
he
stance?
Could have had it.
It was ironic.
It just happened to be that.
We counted how many times you say ooey in this. I think it's like 8 or 9.
By the way, we were
thing.
exaggerating when we said 1.5 years, and
well, don't say that because we don't.
I know
we have
what
no
I'm saying.
idea. That's our safety blanket.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Did you get any of that?
It's a good show.